Younger me would have done anything to live in this gorgeous one-bedroom apartment by myself in a major city. In fact, I think there's a ton of people that would want to trade their lives just to have this. I'm so proud of myself that I was able to work this hard to afford this, but $2,600 a month. And mind you guys, I'm paying under the value. Like typically this apartment would have been $3,000 a month. I've recently just came to the realization that like, I don't care about this stuff. Justifying $32,000 of rent a year just does not make sense to me. I don't want to live in a major city and pay absurd rent. If I wanted to visit, I can. This life isn't for me anymore. I would prefer to save that money and go traveling. Take it from a girl who's lived in big cities, LA, Miami, San Francisco. It's not all what it appears to be.
People are fleeing American cities, not slowly, but in waves. The rent's insane, the noise never stops, and the American dream of city life, it's starting to look more like a nightmare. So why are so many Americans packing up, leaving behind the skyscrapers, and heading straight for the suburbs and countryside? In this deep dive, I'll show you the shocking truth behind why people are leaving the cities in droves, discuss the burnout crisis, and end with a question that's guaranteed to start a heated debate in the comments.
I don't want to say a bunch of bad stuff on here about New York because I don't want New Yorkers to come after me, but I really romanticize the city, and it's not that romantic. I want to leave. I thought that I'd come to New York and I'd find myself.
Remember when living in the city meant you'd made it? There was a time when moving to the city meant something. It was a symbol of success, a badge of ambition. You graduated, packed your bags, and chased that skyline. You wanted the energy, the culture, the endless possibilities. Rooftop bars, walkable neighborhoods, always something to do. That used to be the dream. You imagined late nights out, early mornings at coffee shops, cool friends, creative jobs, and maybe that perfect apartment with skyline views. But for a lot of people, that dream turned out to be a never-ending cycle of just trying to keep up. But now, people are realizing the dream comes with rats, sirens, and a $3,000 studio apartment smaller than a garage. That feeling of working nonstop just to barely survive, it's killing the magic of urban life. That once glamorous vision has been replaced by barely surviving instead of building your dream life. The city that was supposed to make you feel alive now makes you feel trapped. And that's what's breaking people. So when people finally pack up and leave, they're not just moving out, they're opting out of the grind, out of the noise, out of a dream that doesn't love them back anymore.
Nights like this where I'm just by myself and it's quiet, I can do a lot of reflecting. Right now I'm reflecting on how I don't think that my life or values or what I prioritize align with living in New York. And I honestly don't know if they ever really did. I just think that I was trying to make life here work for me really badly, and it just doesn't. I just crave space and quiet and rest, and I just want to be able to host people and do low-key things, spend time outside in nature, be closer to my family and my boyfriend. I'm rambling now. I feel like I see videos often of girls talking about how they don't love New York anymore. I am with you.
Because sometimes the real dream isn't about skyscrapers or status. It's about space to breathe, time to live, and the freedom to feel human again.
Can somebody tell me if I'm tripping? Like, $2,500 for a one bedroom, 730 square feet. $3,190. So $3,190 for 830 square feet. And then you keep scrolling, hold on. Down here, $5,000 for 950 square feet. Now, 950 square feet, that's a lot. But $5,000 in Atlanta? Am I tripping? Like, is this not insane?
Housing costs are out of control. The cost of living in major cities has gone completely off the rails. Rent has doubled in some neighborhoods, tripled in others. And it's not just New York or San Francisco anymore. It's spreading everywhere. $2,500 for a one-bedroom? $4,000 for a luxury apartment with paper-thin walls? Being stuck living with 5 or more roommates to still get stuck overpaying for rent? People are asking themselves, what am I even paying for?
I went to go see an apartment in Brickell. It's like the business district of Miami. It's a luxury building. I was really excited to see it. And honestly, I was thinking about signing on the spot. Lo and behold, when I get there, there's just like this, what looks like a curtain, like a shower curtain right behind the kitchen. And I asked the girl that's living there, I was like, what is that? Like, is that supposed to be there? And she tried to brush it off, but something told me, like, keep asking her. So she told me, oh no, that's a den. We just like put stuff there. And I was like, oh, okay. And some random girl pops out of there. And I was like, what's going on? She's like, oh no, this is your roommate. And she told me, oh no, the girl, she's really quiet, like you won't even feel her. Mind you, the apartment is for one person. So I was surprised there was someone else living there. They made a makeshift room by putting a shower curtain behind the kitchen.
When your rent eats half your paycheck and groceries take the rest, you start to wonder, what's the point? Why grind yourself into the ground just to keep treading water in a city that doesn't care if you drown? Because when the average person can't afford a roof, a life, or even a break, it's not just a housing issue. It's a crisis of purpose.
Here is the smallest apartment I think I have ever seen in 18 years of New York City real estate. This is the whole apartment. There is a little tiny fridge, the sink, and this is it. I think you could just probably fit a chair. And I bet you're wondering, where is the bathroom? It's not behind this door. Nope, that's it. Are you ready for this? Yep, that's right. I'm going down the hall, and this is the bathroom to that apartment.
People aren't just leaving because it's cheaper elsewhere. They're leaving because it's the only way to feel like life is moving forward again. That's when people start looking at the suburbs differently. Because out there, $2,400 a month doesn't buy you 400 square feet. It buys you an actual home, a yard, maybe even a garage, space to breathe. For a lot of millennials and Gen Z, the math just doesn't add up anymore.
Those that live in Houston can relate to what I'm finna say. I literally wake up every morning, like, before I go to my car, I be like, God, please, I pray that my tires are still in my car. God, please, I pray nobody has broken in my car. I pray that my windows are intact. I pray that my car is still where I parked it, first of all. Like, I have not prayed that prayer more in my life than now. I literally, like, do a full walk around my car. Like, it's crazy. And it don't matter where you live. Like, you can live in River Oaks. You can live in the hood. You feel me? But God, please continue to protect me, my friends, and my family, because y'all on the bed with them cars.
Nobody wants to talk about it, but safety plays a huge role in this migration. When you're constantly checking over your shoulder on your walk home or dealing with break-ins, it wears you down.
I'm reporting live from New York City. I'm currently in the subway and I'm at 14th Street. But I'm just going to say this. I just got off the car and there was a man shouting the entire ride. I'm coming from Brooklyn, getting off in New York, and he was screaming the entire ride out loud. If y'all don't know, the shit is real on the subway cars. There's no police, no military around. Motherfuckers are allowed to snap on people, have outbursts. I'm sympathetic to the mentally ill, no disrespect. You know, God bless them all. But where is the protection for the riders? Why should we have to sit there and endure this on our train ride, especially when they keep increasing the prices of MTA? Why do we have to sit on the train and listen to motherfuckers shout or threaten us or make us feel, unsafe? I don't like that shit. And I've been living here for 20 years.
Parents especially, they want their kids to play outside, ride bikes, just be kids. In many cities, that's becoming harder and harder to imagine. So people trade convenience for safety. People are craving something simpler. Not perfect, just peaceful. They're tired of worrying about what might happen every time they step outside their apartment.
Okay, I know I'm crying on camera, it's not cute, but I was just walking to Trader Joe's and as I was walking there, some woman who didn't even look homeless came up to me and punched me in the head. She hit my extension track, so it wasn't that bad. But I'm just what the f? In broad daylight too, like literally broad daylight, main street. And I just moved into this new apartment. Now I'm like scared. I don't know. I have a lot of feelings right now, and I'm like really scared. And I don't know what to do. I just like ran away.
They want a yard and maybe even a neighborhood where people wave to each other instead of avoiding eye contact. This isn't about fear-mongering. It's about burnout. People are tired of living on edge. They're not running away from life. They're running towards peace of mind.
I don't know if there's other parents that feel the same way I do about raising kids in the city. You know, I grew up in a small town, a lot more nature, where communities were a lot closer, where you kind of knew your entire neighborhood. You know everybody, they know you, the local school, the teachers. There was more community, more closeness. I've been really contemplating this, but the city is kind of getting old. Living in a city when you're disconnected from everything, everything's crazy expensive. You can only afford to spend time together on the weekends, if anything. And the idea of moving to a small town, it doesn't sound that crazy anymore. It sounds something that, you know, I think a lot of parents are craving, that proximity, just the opportunity to raise my kids in a good environment.
There's a moment when a lot of city dwellers realize something. That glamorous city life doesn't necessarily mesh easily with raising a family. At some point, priorities shift. The late nights out, the rooftop parties, the endless grind culture, it all starts to feel empty, because one day you're not just thinking about you anymore. You're thinking about them, a partner, a future family. And suddenly that downtown apartment that once felt like freedom starts to feel like a cage. Tiny apartments, no yard, crowded schools. It's just not the same as the childhood many parents want for their kids. And so the move begins. Backyards replace balconies, and for the first time, people start to feel like they're building something long term. People aren't fleeing cities because they hate them. They're leaving because cities no longer fit the version of life they're trying to build. For many Americans, it's not even about owning a mansion. It's about owning peace, a sense of community, of normalcy, things that can feel almost impossible to find in big city chaos. And if you talk to people who've made the move, they'll tell you the same thing. It's not that I stopped loving the city. It just stopped loving me back anymore. Because when your dreams evolve, so does your definition of home. And for millions of Americans, that home isn't found in the skyline anymore. Before 2020, if you wanted a good job, you had to live in a major city. The big job, the connections, the paycheck, it was all tied to geography. But suddenly the world shut down. Offices emptied. Laptops opened. And millions of people realized something they'd never questioned before. Wait, if I can do this job from my kitchen table, why am I paying $3,000 a month for rent and parking tickets? Remote work didn't just change how people work. It changed where they believe life is worth living. That realization triggered a massive migration, and it hasn't stopped. Smaller towns that were dying out are now booming with young families, creatives, and digital nomads.
Day 92 left to living in Boston, and I can't wait to get the out of the city. Yeah, you heard me. I think I have massive Boston burnout. Actually, I don't think, I know. And I'm also so burnt out from my job, which is crazy because I haven't even been here a year. So all in all, I'm ready for a life change, and I need my life change now. But we're going to have to be patient. In the meantime, I will continue to eat, sleep, breathe, look out the window, and pretend to be a functioning human being. Bye.
City life has become one giant burnout loop. Wake up, commute, work, scroll, sleep. Repeat. At some point, city life stopped feeling exciting and started feeling exhausting. Burnout is the silent epidemic no one really talks about. Not the dramatic kind that makes headlines, but the slow kind. The one that drains your spirit one commute, one rent payment, one sleepless night at a time. Because when your life becomes a checklist, work, pay bills, repeat, it's not living anymore. It's survival on autopilot. It's about escaping the noise, the pressure to always do more, the feeling that you're never enough. The city feeds that energy.
One favorite thing that you love about New York?
The hustle culture. Like, everyone's working all the time. It inspires me to work a lot.
Do you work a lot?
Yes.
There's no space to breathe, no time to rest, and people are done with it. Suburban and rural living promise something different. Time, space, a slower pace. You can hear birds instead of sirens. You can see stars instead of skyscraper windows. People are craving balance, not hustle. And for a generation raised on overstimulation, that kind of stillness feels revolutionary. And that craving is reshaping America. Maybe the American dream isn't about climbing higher anymore. Maybe it's about stepping away and finally breathing again.
The number one thing that surprised me about my move from New York City to the suburbs was the grief and just how profoundly sad I was to leave the city.
It's like I ruined my life. I
everything up. I cannot believe I would do this. This is the craziest thing. I like literally blew up my life for what? A backyard? New York City is one of the great loves of my life, so I knew I'd be so sad to leave, but I didn't realize the extent of how much it would hit me. It was crazy. We moved out on a Monday, so pretty much Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, all I did was cry all day. And then on Tuesday was our closing, and I couldn't even enjoy the closing because I was just so tired. I was just like in shock and like grieving like the ending of the best chapter of my life. It was crazy. My friend was like, listen, you need to give yourself grace. Allow time to like mourn the chapter and like the closing of it. And both things can be true. Like you can like love and appreciate and honor this chapter, but like be looking forward to a new chapter. But I just like didn't realize like how hard that transition would be. I'm sure I will grow to love the suburbs, but I just didn't realize like how hard the transition would be.
Here's where it gets controversial, because let's not romanticize it too much. You need a car for everything, social life can vanish overnight, and those cookie-cutter neighborhoods, not exactly everyone's vibe. Some people end up moving back, missing that chaotic energy of the city. The food, the culture, the nightlife. That's why the debate is so heated. Are people truly escaping the problems of city life, or are they just trading one set of challenges for another? So maybe it's not about escaping the city forever. Maybe it's about escaping what city life has become.
My nervous system became so much more regulated when I moved out of a big city, and for anybody that is able to do that or consider doing that, I highly recommend. I didn't even realize how much my nervous system was having to digest and process when I was living in a city. Everything from the amount of noise, of construction and stimulation, the amount of people that I would come into contact on a day-to-day basis, the lack of direct access to farms and good food, the amount of air pollution. I can hear the birds in the morning. I can put my feet on the bare grass in my backyard. There's overall so much less for my nervous system to have to respond to here. And I mean, guess what? This is the lifestyle that is much more in line with our actual physiology, and therefore I'm more regulated.
This isn't just a housing story. It's a reflection of something deeper, a growing divide between what people want their lives to be and what the system is offering them. People want simplicity, connection, freedom, but they're stuck paying for a lifestyle that feels empty. Cities, once symbols of opportunity, are increasingly symbols of compromise. And when compromise becomes constant, people are reclaiming their lives one move at a time. So they're creating their own version of the American dream. One with home gardens and a lot less rent. And is this the end of city life? Not quite. Cities will never truly die, they'll evolve. But what we're seeing now is a massive reset, a rejection of the bigger, faster, more expensive mindset that's dominated for decades. Maybe people are finally realizing peace of mind is worth more than skyline views. The question that no one can agree on. So here's the question, and I want to see your answers in the comments. Is America's move away from cities a sign of progress or collapse? Are we reclaiming our freedom or just running from problems we created ourselves? Let's talk about it in the comments. If this video made you look at city life a little differently, hit like and share it. Subscribe for more deep dives into the changing face of American life. As always, feel free to suggest topics related to American culture that you'd like to see us cover next in the comments. I just wanted to take a second to thank all of my subscribers. I just hit 1,000 subscribers, and I am so grateful for your support. Thank you so much.